Kirra or Saray is a village in Phocis, central Greece. It is part of the municipal unit of Itea. It is also sometimes called Idrasti. Kirra is part of a trifecta starting in the north with Delphi, descending south to the Gulf of Corinth to Itea, which is the main seaside city in that area, and then down the coast a few miles to Kirra. Ancient history. In ancient times, Kirra existed as a fortified city that controlled access to Delphi from the Corinthian Gulf. This strategic location of Kirra allowed its citizens to rob pilgrims on their way to the Delphic oracle, and to collect taxes and annex sacred lands from Delphi. This behavior prompted many of the other tribal entities of the adjacent regions to form the Amphixionic League, an alliance for the protection of the cult of Demeter in Anthiel and of Apollo in Delphi. The Amphictyony consulted the oracle for advice on dealing with Kirra, and the reply was a call for total war. The members of the League vowed to completely destroy Kirra and ravage the surrounding areas. To this they added a curse in the name of Apollo, that the soil should bring forth no crops, that the children of the women and livestock should be deformed, and that the entire ethnic group that inhabited the city should be eradicated. The ensuing war lasted for 10 years and became known as the First Sacred War. The leader of the attack was the tyrant Cleisthenes of Sicyon, who used his powerful navy to blockade the city's port before using an allied Amphixionic army to besiege Kirra. What transpired after this is a matter of debate. The earliest, and therefore probably most reliable, account is that of the medical writer Thessalus, who in the 5th century BC wrote that the attackers discovered a secret water pipe leading into the city after it was broken by a horse's hoof. An Asclepiad named Nabros, or, according to another version, the Athenian Solon advised the allies to poison the water with hellebore. The hellebore soon rendered the defenders so weak with diarrhea that they were unable to continue resisting the assault. Kirra was captured and the entire population was slaughtered. Nabros was an ancestor of Hippocrates of Kos, so this story has caused many to wonder whether it might not have been guilt over his ancestors' use of poison that drove Hippocrates to establish the Hippocratic Oath. Later historians told different stories. After a while, they restored the pipe, allowing water to flow into the city. The desperate Kirians immediately began drinking the water, unaware that Cleisthenes and his allies had poisoned it with hellebore. According to Polyarinus, a writer of the 2nd century AD, after the pipe was discovered, the attackers added the hellebore to the spring from which the water came, without ever actually depriving the Kirians of water. Polyarinus also gave credit for the strategy not to Cleisthenes but to General Eurylochos, who he claimed advised his allies to gather a large amount of hellebore from Anticyra, where it was abundant. The stories of Frontinus and Polyarinus both have the same result as Thessalos's tale, the defeat of Kirra. The last major historian to advance a news story of the siege was Pausanias, who visited the region in the 2nd century AD. In his version of events, Solon of Athens diverted the course of the river Pleistis so that it didn't run through Kirra. Solon had hoped to thus defeat the Kirians by thirst, but the enemy were able to get enough water from their wells and rainwater collection. Solon then added a great quantity of hellebore to the water of the Pleistis and let it flow into Kirra. The poisoning then allowed the allies to destroy the city. Modern Kirra. Kirra is part of the regional unit of Phocis. It is known for its beaches, camping and water sports. Excavations in the region have revealed traces of habitation since the early Heladic period, with a prosperity period in the Middle Heladic period. A sanctuary, possibly dedicated to Poseidon, has been excavated close to the beach of the modern town. The medieval tower on the seaside as well as some traces of port infrastructure attest to the prosperity of Kirra in the Byzantine and Frankish period. Trivia. On the popular TV series Xena, Warrior Princess, the character Callisto was born in this city and Xena's army burned it when Callisto was a small girl, killing her family, giving her the reason to be Xena's worst enemy. Circe was a nymph from whom the town of Circe in Phocis was believed to have derived its name. Kirra is another name for the nymph Yggdrasil. At Circe, the port that served Delphi, Pausanias noted, a temple of Apollo, Artemis and Leto, with very large images of Attica workmanship. Yggdrasil has been set up by the Syrians in the same place, but she is not so large as the other images. She was sometimes called Nemesis, probably meaning one from whom there is no escape. Her epithet Erinys is specially applied to Demeter and the Phrygian mother goddess, Cybele. The village of Kirra is featured in the 2013 PlayStation 3 game, God of War: Ascension.